Hello, and thank you once again for tuning in to the 30-Day Mental Diet. Today we are at day 21. At day 21, that means we're going into beginning our fourth week of the 30-Day Mental Diet, which is the final home stretch. And today's lesson is entitled Using the Power of Love. And the subheading says, love alone makes life worthwhile. A wonderful lesson today, and let's go right in. And as usual, let us go straight into the introduction and let us see what we can glean from today's lesson. It could be said that the most important single thing in your experiencing of a more worthwhile life is your capacity to love. Love has been described as the greatest thing in the world. It's a force that cannot be resisted and that establishes peace and harmony. You are probably so used to hearing songs about it and reading what the poets have said that for the most part, you have failed to recognize the important practical benefits of love in your daily life. Wow, it's a good introduction there, and it's so true. It is said over and over and over that God himself is love. The infinite creator of the universe not only loves me and you, but God himself is love. And what it's saying is here that if we understand using the power of love, every time we use the power of love, we're actually using the power of God. Think about that. That's so incredible, because if God is love, when we're using the power of love to achieve whatever it is we're doing in this realm, we are using the power of God. Let's go on to the next paragraph. The necessity of love. Love alone is a constructive factor. All contrary to it is destructive. When you lack love, you are denying yourself the very thing that you say you most desire, a more worthwhile life. Actually, you have no choice as to whether you shall love. It is a matter of necessity, for without it, every aspect of your experience deteriorate. It was also said that the opposite of love is hate. And when there's hate in the heart, hate is a destructive force. You think about the wars and the strife over the years that have been fueled by hate. There's nothing creative have ever come out of these things. But you must also think about what hate is doing, because remember, everything first cause is always mental. So hate comes from the mind, just like love comes from thinking and from the mind. So you have a choice every single day to choose love over hate. Very, very important that you understand that. Even though certain individuals might get on your nerves, certain groups, certain things might get really on your last nerve, and you really don't like certain situations, you have a choice to love or to hate. And like some of my friends would say, love at a distance. So you don't like that situation, so I'm going to distance myself, and I love them from a distance. But if you decide to turn that love into hate and turn that consciousness from love to hate, you are sending out a destructive force in the universe, but that destructive force also affects you. Okay, let's go down. I'm at the next paragraph, and we are reading the nature of love. I'm in the middle of the paragraph. There is no undertaking of man that can deprive itself of the action of love without suffering the effects of its detrimental opposites. Love alone provides harmony, constructive endeavor, and mutual well-being. Here it is. You want harmony in your life? You want harmony at work? You want harmony at your relationship, in your relationships? Love must be the key. You want harmony at work? Love your work. Love your co-workers. You might not like a few of their behaviors and certain little quirks about them, but you just have to recognize that they're different. And sometimes you have to also recognize that everyone is free to choose. And sometimes people choose things that are not good for them. We're not islands. We're all children of God, and we have to remember that we have to come together to build things. And if we hate each other, we can't build. All we can do is destroy. And that's what's being pointed out right here. Love is what brings us together in communities, to build marketplace, to build cities, to build everything that we're doing here on earth. We have to love our neighbors. And that's very important. Love the people that we're working with, and we have to use the power of love in order to build. Anything outside of the power of love is only destruction. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph. I'm reading physical aspects. What many people do not realize is the vital importance of the attitude of love on their physical well-being. There is practically no function of the body that cannot be adversely affected by its lack. Conversely, the person who is able to embody a feeling of love is in every respect finds that his body functions in a more harmonious manner. Now, we're going to be dealing with health also during this 30-day mental diet. And one of the things we have to recognize about love, the scripture says laughter heals the bones like medicine, like some of the best medicines. So when people are sick, some of the best things you can do when you're visiting somebody that's sick is to cheer them up. Once we can change their state, change their thinking, redirect their thoughts from their conditions to other things, to humor, something that cheers up, the laughter does good for their bones and will heal their bones, just like medicine. But same thing also, we have to also recognize that if we're harboring hate within our heart and not love towards something or someone, some people harbor hate for years, decades even. They harbor hate and they don't realize the third person or thing or situation that they hate so much, and they're directing their hate and their complaints against. All it's doing is drying up their bones. It's causing cancer, ulcers, all type of stomach problems, all type of problems. Disease is setting forth in your body when you harbor hate. So this is one of the important things you have to recognize. And in this lesson, we're using the power of love. So we have to say, whoa, what is it that I hate? Is there anything that I hate? I'm going to discard that. I'm going to forgive that, because I recognize by holding hate in my heart and not love, I'm really damaging my own body. Let's go to the next paragraph. Mental aspects. Equally obvious is the effect of a lack of love on the way you think. When hatred and animosity instead of love fill your mind, there is turmoil, confusion, and lack of constructive thinking. When intense dislike is uppermost in your thought, it becomes an obsession and dominates everything you do and say in a negative manner. Wow. So here we are talking about remember we said before and over, I'm saying it over and over, that first cause is mental. So if we hold hate in our hearts and in our thinking, we hold animosity towards people instead of love, there's confusion. And where there's confusion, there cannot be any creation. Confusion, God has created an orderly world according to his natural laws. And he's saying here that hate is the opposite of love, but hate is also confusion of your thinking. It confuses your thinking. And when we have gone over and over before in previous lessons, that when there's confusion in the mind, there's confusion in our world. And this is why I'm urging you in this lesson to let go of all animosity, all hatred that you may have of someone, no matter, in spite of what they may have done to you and you felt that they need to be hated. This is very, very important. One of the things we also have to catch ourselves, sometimes the media tells us who to hate. And we don't recognize, we might say we hate this person or that person, but what do you really hate them? You don't even know the person. Have you had a personal encounter? No, but the media said this person is like this, this, and this, and we should hate them because of that. Any hate we hold in our heart, we choose to love. Any hate we hold in our heart is detrimental to ourselves. Love all your fellow men. If you have someone that you feel that you have ought, love them from a distance, but don't hold hate in your heart. Okay, let's go down. We're at love is a magnet. You must never overlook the fact that by feeling contrary to the sense of love is depriving you of the things you would like the most. Going down. You will only be able to find in your experience a reflection of the way you feel. The important thing is not to struggle against undesirable experiences with evidence a lack of expression of love, but instead remold them by remolding your thought so that it is complete. It is a complete embodiment of love. And this is, I'm pretty sure that Christ said, love your enemies. People that do wrong to you, don't reciprocate to them. And this is one of the things about turning the other cheek. We always feel we need to get back people, have vengeful. We always feel that. And he said, no. What he's saying here, no. When we hate, we're depriving our own self of the thing that we said we want, which is love. Love and hate should never be in the same heart. Either you have a heart of love or you have a heart of hate. But you should not compartmentalize your heart. So I have love for this, hate for this. Love for this person, hate for that person. No. Only thing in your heart is love. And when you have love in your heart, you have a creative force. Not only do you have a creative force, but you have God himself, who is love, in your heart. Okay, let's go down. Next paragraph. Love is essential. The person who is not loved, who seems incapable of loving, soon finds his life begins to wither away. For your physical and mental welfare, you must develop the capacity to love. Because if you don't, you not only deprive yourself, but others of the benefit of this constructive power. Just summarize what we said before. It's important, very, very important. You want a peaceful life. you want a constructive life, you want a prosperous life, you want a healthy life, love must be in your heart. Nothing else contrary. Okay, we're at the last paragraph. I'm reading Growing Up. The capacity to increase your experience of the benefits of love is a never-ending process. You have to start removing every big and little negative attitude you can discover within yourself. You start being constructive rather than adding to what you already might dislike. The greatest constructive creative force is love. And you can use the power to remold, transform, and renew your whole experience of life. Now, important here, we can use the force of love to remold. So when we are recreating, when we are rethinking, when we are repenting, we're using the power of love. And when we remold our thinking about certain situations, certain people that we had held on animosity or dislike for, when we remold our thinking, we are also remolding our own life in a constructive way. Okay, let's look here at the mental stimulus. I'm reading from philosophy. Love is a substantial bond between the universal and the individual, the divine and the human. Love is God himself, and apart from it, there is no God. Love makes man God and God man. Very, very good. And let's read down. I'm reading Galatians 5:13 through 14. By love, serve one another, for all the law is fulfilled in this one word, even this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful teaching there. And let us go to the diet, and let's read the diet together. All is the creation of the harmonious action of God, an expression of God's love. It is in this love that I live, move, and have my being. I now declare that in everything I am and do, I accept a greater influx and outflow of the love that is God. As I love, I am loved. As I help another, I am helped. My whole life is filled with a sense of love for all people. My way is made clear. My cup runneth over. My body is made whole, and my experiences are happy through the creative power of the God-like love that I express in all ways. The love I express brings joy to others, and returns to me, making my life worthwhile. Regardless of what confronts me, I meet the situation with the creative, constructive force of love, which makes all things right. The love that is God, the great motivating power of all life, I recognize as actively renewing and transforming my every aspect of my experience. Love alone rules my life. It's beautiful, beautiful. And I want to remind you that when we came here as a baby, as a new spirit, we only came with love in our heart. We were taught to hate, okay? And we must shed those things. Shed all things that's contrary to love. You can probably hear in the background some children are playing outside, and they scream and they jump and they're so joyful. And we have to take life like these children. We have to be joyful every day, because in the midst of joy is love. Let us read the capsule supplement together. Love, harmony, cooperation, and mutual assistance is the very foundation of my life. In my every thought, emotion, and action, I express only love, and this divine power makes everything right in my world. Very, very good lesson today, the power of love. I hope today you have decided within yourself that anything or anyone or any situation that you have been hating and disliking, that you're going to discard that, because you recognize that the only creative power and force in this universe to make good in your life is love. If you like what we're doing here, you like this message, please share it on your social media, share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And I would love to see you again. We're coming into the final week, and I'd love to see you again tomorrow on the 30-day mental diet.